Greetings, welcome to the Prime Directive. I'm your host Jefficho, and my co-host is always Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hello!
Been a while since we talked some Trek.
It has, and we're in the off-season now, so I guess we've got a little time to get back to our movie reviews.
Yeah, with this Picard series coming up, it might make sense to do Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Nemesis?
Oh man, this is a rough movie for me, just personally. So I'm gonna tell you this little story. I went and, little Chris, I think I was like 10 or 11 years old when this first came out, and I went to see it in the theater with my dad, and I was just bawling by the end. I was, honest to God, crying out of that movie theater, crying on the way home, crying when I got home. That's like, my mom keeps reminding me of this whenever I mention Star Trek around her. Oh no.
Isn't that the show that makes you cry?
I couldn't deal with it at the end there.
Yeah, losing Data was tough for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Riker saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
That one made me tear up when Riker's just like, it was an honor to serve with you.
Serving with you has been an honor. The honor was mine, Captain.
This movie starts out with the Romulan homeworld and Senate, and a couple of Romulans, petitioning for Shinzon.
Yeah, so this is the first time we're hearing of the Remans, I think. And Romulus and Remus were, it was like brothers in the Roman mythology, I believe. So it makes sense that if you're going to have Romulus, there should be a Remus, but it's always kind of funny when you get like to the end of a series or whatever, something like this, and they just introduce something that you feel you probably could have heard about before.
Yeah.
Like when that makes sense.
You'd think.
But maybe that ties into my other little thing, which is Romulans have always been so underexplored for me. They're so cool. They've got this big, like I said, Roman-based kind of culture, and they have the coolest looking ships. And we see them around. They fly in, they do their threats, but we don't know a whole lot about their culture. We don't know what Romulans are like too much. We don't get the kind of insight to them that we get with we've gotten with the Klingons or the Ferengi in DS9 or other species like that. Certainly not like the Vulcans. I would really like to see more of an exploration of what's going on Romulus and what Romulans are like.
Well, we might get that from the Picard series, but we sure didn't get much of that from this.
No.
We did get like a really cool scene where everybody turned to stone and then fell and broke open.
Mm-hmm. Very Electric Light Orchestra.
Theater on radiation's pretty sweet.
I've been watching that Chernobyl series recently, and all the talk of radiation in this movie just kept reminding me of that. Like, no! You can't do it.
Oh, it's funny. Romulans turn on each other. The Thawara, the Senate chick, she just leaves her little device there and screws everybody over.
Yeah.
We're also getting introduced to like a new bad guy, and they actually cut a scene where they introduce him because then it destroys the reveal of him. So they saved that for later because you just keep talking about this guy and then eventually you want to see him. So it's a good build up.
Mm-hmm.
We jump next to the wedding in Alaska.
Yeah, actually, I didn't quite pick up on that, but it totally makes sense that the human wedding would be in Alaska, being where Riker's from.
Yeah. Good speech from Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Couple shots. You get a guy little line there from her.
Data still hasn't learned to stop babbling.
No. Shut up, Data. I've been waiting years to say that.
Yes.
Wesley's gone. I gotta say to that. Oh shit! Wait, Wesley's there.
No, well, he's there in the deleted scene. There's a lot of deleted scenes for this movie, and some of them I definitely should have stayed. I think they made more sense, but
it was under 2 hours, so they could have.
Some of them like that make no goddamn sense. I mean, Wesley being at the wedding, that might be fine, but he shouldn't be a Starfleet lieutenant.
No.
He is far beyond that.
It's just to be like, oh, hey, yeah, Riker's gonna have a ship with people you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he stepped down from being a traveler, you know?
Yeah. You know what? I am going to go back to the Academy. This whole big arc I had of me realizing that Starfleet isn't what's meant for me and I'm meant to go do this other thing. You know what? Fuck it. I'm coming back.
Yeah. We get some singing from Data,
Mm-hmm.
Little Blue Skies.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice a recognizable extra at this wedding.
Yeah, they didn't
I
have
freeze framed it. I'm just like, no, all just extras. Where's Barkley? What's he up to?
Yeah, they didn't know Barkley. They didn't have any of the regular like bridge extras even at the wedding.
I mean, how many admirals? Janeway could have showed up. Like,
Sure, she did.
She shows up in the movie, but she should have showed up at the wedding. I'm sorry, but what did Riker do? He stopped the Borg from destroying us. He's a hero.
Yeah.
Saved the galaxy a few times.
Worf? Are you alright?
Romulan ale should be illegal.
It is.
Worf can't handle his drinks. I gotta say, I pointed this out because he just came out of a giant war of the Dominion War where they drank a lot of blood wine.
Not Romulan ale, though.
No.
I bet Romulan ale mixes exceptionally poorly with Klingons.
You know, I
Just
get
those two races.
I get that it was illegal in, like, you know, Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
Still illegal?
I think it's
100 years
like,
later?
It's like weed. Like, it's illegal, but everyone has it. It's not that big a deal.
Break it out. Are the admirals on board? Nope. Next, they get back to the ship and they detect a magnetic positronic signature on Caloron 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Neat.
it's time to go investigate that. Picard ignoring regulations as always.
Mm-hmm. And we get our shortcut sort of statement. We get Dune Buggy Picard.
I've been itching to try the Argo. I'll bet. And your wife would never forgive me if anything were to happen to you. You have the bridge. Mr. Troy?
Yeah.
This is what I'm not looking forward to in the Picard series.
I'm sorry, but Picard's getting really old. He is not going to be action Picard in the series.
I don't know, man. I think they're gonna try.
No.
They're gonna give him this like action mobility.
The best thing about like action scenes in like Star Trek is like phasers don't have any kickback like a real gun. So I mean, you could fire a phaser and not have any effect on the body there. But like why not just take the shuttle?
yeah, they could have
Instead of
shuttled to where they were going.
Riding around.
Yeah. The Dune Buggy served no purpose, I think, other than being cool.
They just wanted a car chase. The director even said that.
I was looking at that. I'm like, yeah, you could have just landed the shuttle right there, and then what's this thing
Beam
actually
things
doing?
up.
Beam things up. Well, no, because there was that ion storm or whatever that was coming.
Sure. What was Riker doing when they were being attacked? Like just sitting on the bridge, telling old stories. Like, weren't you monitoring the situation?
Yeah, they could have contacted someone.
We've got some more life forms approaching the captains.
Yeah, there was just absolutely no acknowledgement or mention or discussion of the massive Prime Directive violation.
Yeah.
Like, if that happened during the series, that would have been the whole episode. Shit.
We don't really know much about that planet. I mean, I could have probably wikied it and see if that was actually the alien racist planet, but it seemed pretty desolate. Maybe it was just a random planet people occasionally colonized.
No, they said it had a industrialized civilization on it.
Oh, you win this round. Way to pay attention.
They said, yeah.
Yeah. We got a remote control shuttle there. Data can just pilot that thing through remote.
Yeah, that makes sense. There was a lot of remotes in this movie.
There was. Yeah. Good scavenger hunt. We even get that Data Hamlet moment.
Yeah, it's the last poor Data.
Yeah. So they get back to the ship and they talk to B4. Now, Admiral Janeway calls. A little ready room chat with Picard. I was like, when I watched this, I'm like, damn you, Janeway. Yeah. Why are you in my show?
Well, here's our little continuity scene. It's like, what are you here after the Dominion War? You always get the Sona and the Borg, and like, look at all this continuity.
Voyager was probably like, last show still going around then. I guess Enterprise had started, but Voyager was still fresh in my mind of my hate of things. I'm over it a bit. Now I'm just
Janeway get to be an admiral, but Picard doesn't.
He turns it down.
Yeah,
Shatner told him to turn it down.
Yeah.
Don't get out of that chair. So we get a little memory download of Data so that, if anything happens to Data.
Yeah, his heart will go on.
Yeah. Before, very childlike.
Very, very simple. I wonder if that's what Data was like when they first turned him on.
No,
I don't get to see Data like that.
I don't think he was. I think his positronic network was far more advanced.
Okay.
We get a captain's log. Does that make you happy? You got 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, 17-hour wait. Why wouldn't he just go in the holosuit and have a Dixon Hill novel marathon?
Yeah, that's just rude, man.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen them, build up some of their relationships a bit more. Like, what is going on with Picard and Beverly? Why do we never get to see this? We get to see the scimitar.
Tactical analysis, Mr. Worf.
52 disruptor banks, 27 photon torpedo bays, primary and secondary shields.
She's a predator.
She's
Cool ship again. Always Romulan stuff.
Yeah?
She's a predator.
I would argue the warbirds aren't that amazing, but the Valdor style warbird is freaking one of my favorites. But yeah, that one's pretty sweet. Even the deleted scene with Shinzon just looks like, get your fleet ready, but I'm gonna go alone. Why? Because I've always gone alone. I don't need you. I've got the scimitar. It's like, he's right. That ship is all he needs.
Ship's like, holy crap.
It's like 26 torpedoes, Thavion radiation. Like, he doesn't need any of you.
Yeah, no, it's like the Defiant. It's a bunch of guns strapped to an engine.
Even the Defiant had its troubles, of course.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't. Really cool transporter effect. I was just like paying attention to them. Just like, that's probably one of the better ones. They go and they see Tom Hardy.
He's there.
Yeah, he had a little facial makeup to make himself look a bit more like Picard. He flirts with Deanna a bit. He's like,
Creepily.
You're a human woman. Yes. Well, he's got no tact. He was raised in a mine.
Yeah.
He's just like, I want this. Like I wanted everything in the mine.
I never knew you were so beautiful.
You seem quite familiar with our personnel.
May I touch your hair?
Yeah, and then he's just like, hey, Picard, I'm your clone, bitch.
What you can do about it?
Yeah. Cuts himself and stayed a knife of his blood. You guys can test that. I am HIV negative. Chris, did you notice how the women on the ship had tighter uniforms than usual?
I'm certain that you did.
Yeah, I did. They threatened them too. Like, remember Deanna was going to get replaced if she didn't take a pay cut for this?
That was apparently, there were some rumors flying around, and, I guess maybe not rumors, because I think it was the actress that was saying it. But apparently there was some talk about getting Jerry Ryan in as 7 of 9 or something.
To replace her.
As much as I would love to see some 7 of 9 Data dialogue, no, that would actually be cool.
No, I'm laughing because that would be awesome. I never thought of that.
I don't think that's the right way to do that. That'd be kind of rude.
Yeah. Next, my girlfriend, Commander Denatra, shows up.
Jeff, just because you got a picture with her does not make her your girlfriend.
I don't know. You take a look at that picture, Chris. Dina Marintra. She likes it.
Right.
She flirts with Tom Hardy. He rejects her and threatens not to touch him.
Does not like the filthy Romulans.
No, I guess getting the lash doesn't do it for him anymore.
Yeah, maybe that awakened something in him.
What must a commander do to prove herself faithful to you? What must a woman do?
You are not a woman.
Before his plane was spot, before the Trojan horse activates. Shinzon tells Picard his the Romulans' awesome plan.
Yes.
They're like, they want to clone you, then accelerate me 30 years, and then I would replace you.
But there was a regime change, budget cuts. I had to go to live in the mine.
Yeah, like it didn't happen. So.
Yeah.
And I guess him not getting accelerated 30 years is really what's killing him and why he needs a Picard transfusion. Yeah.
He needs more stable DNA.
There's a really good dinner scene between him and Picard. I think you were telling me the guys from Enterprise were watching it because it was being filmed on the set next door.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting little scene that you can find if you're good at searching around on YouTube. But they were practicing that scene on the set of Enterprise. I think it's in like the sick bay on Enterprise, and it's weird looking at these two guys, in their costumes for Nemesis on the Enterprise set.
Yeah, as much negativity as Nemesis gets, I think the chemistry between these two guys was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like there's definitely themes here, and I'm coming back to this movie a little calmer, a little older, And it's
Not crying the whole time?
Yeah, not crying the whole time. But you know, I can see what they were going for. That it could have been better.
Were we Picards always warriors?
I think of myself as an explorer.
Well, were we always explorers?
I was the first Picard to leave our solar system.
Well, I really like that, like, you know, in some ways he's thinking of this as his son, this little clone of his, because, like, you know, we even stepped in, like, 7 where he lost his nephew, there's no one carrying on the Picard name, he's got no kids. I mean, that's a theme that's probably going to come up during the Picard series. It's a good, powerful theme, and I liked that they added that in there, because if you're going to add a villain, like, what are you going to do at this point?
Yeah, and he's even talking about how different he was than his family. You know, he's the first one to leave the solar system, and now he's the only one left.
Were we always warriors? Well, were we always explorers? I'm just like...
That was sort of childlike. Like, he
was?
genuinely really wanted to know more about his heritage.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, even when he talks to him later near the end and he's trying to convince him, like you don't have to be this. Like, being human means trying to be better than yourself. You can see that he's getting through the Hardy, even though Hardy is like going to go back on it. It's just like really cool to see that in his eyes and his facial expressions.
Absolutely something there.
Yeah,
that you know could have done what Picard was suggesting, but
yeah. Then you know, we jump back to the ship. We get a little rape scene.
Yeah.
You know, as rape scenes go, this is probably like one of the easiest ones to watch because it wasn't a physical rape scene. There's a mental one.
You know, I don't know how many times Troy has been mind raped throughout the run of TNG.
Or impregnated by aliens.
What I really appreciate in this one is she just gets in there and she just mind rapes him right back. She's just like, you know what, I have had enough of this shit.
Well, you know what I want to know is how her and Riker are going to have sex with that bedsheet between them. I'm sorry, guys. You're in a movie now. You don't have to be so PG. You can't have skin pressed against skin. No, they actually cut a rape scene too. There's a good elevator one where the angles it shoots and everything is really cool because like, it makes it look like he's laying her down, but it's just the standing up, just the way they filmed it. But I think that really builds towards like Shinzon's kind of obsession with her because I'm watching and I'm just like, you don't have time for this. Like you've got all this shit to do, Shinzon, and here you are playing mind games to fuck with them or something. Like, yeah. But then when you see it happen again, I'm just like, you know, really, it's just because he wants her. Like, you know, here's the first human girl I've ever seen. I mean, at that point, you probably want someone closer to your age, but
I think they got across his creepy obsession with her fairly well, even without.
That opening seems
like, yeah, the opening was, "Can I touch your hair?" And you know,
is that a creepy line? So I should stop using that?
Maybe. Like that's creepy, and yeah, I guess you know he says you know he's never interacted with a woman that looks even remotely like him before, so he just dude's creepy and he does not know how to conduct himself.
It's that damn Romulan haircut. Let a few of them grow their hair long.
Yeah.
Go find that underground Vulcan reunification movement there. So yeah, not too long after that, he gives up on that and just beams Picard over.
Yes.
It's like, hey guys.
Takes him.
Yeah. Data gets beamed over too, or rather, B4 gets beamed over too. And he lays out his master plan of evil conquest. And he keeps throwing out, I love this, it's like, I'm a mirror of you, but no, I'm a mirror of you too.
Yeah. No, you.
I'm the clone, no, you're the clone. So Data Vulcan neck pinches a Riemann.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we mentioned, but Riemann's look pretty cool. Like, you got a lot of close-up shots of Ron Perlman, and like lots of times it's like, oh, there's the eyes, there's the makeup mask on top.
There's the
it looked really good.
Yeah. And I'm also sort of like they certainly don't look like Romulans, so I'm wondering if these species are actually related at all. Or if there were just two sentient life forms developing independently on these two close planets.
Well, I mean, if you took the Romulans and you put them on this dilithium mine planet and they got no sunlight, like they would adjust to be vampire bats, which they kind of are.
Maybe.
They might grow thicker skin. I don't know. Their skulls might get bigger. The body adjusts to its environment, so...
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if they actually are related, if they're offshoots like the Vulcans and Romulans or what.
Yeah, well, it didn't seem like a planet. It seemed more like a mine.
What was it? Was it a moon or a planet? I don't remember what they call
Well, I think they call it a sister planet, but...
Okay.
Yeah, Romulans have Scorpion-class ships, which look really cool. So when Data breaks them out, they fly one through. I might add that the Remans have terrible aim for people that did so well in the war.
Yeah, right. They got Stormtrooper syndrome, even though they're like they're renowned as warriors.
If only Data went over with Ensign Ricky, so that they would have had like somebody to show.
Shoot. Yeah.
They're like, wow, they just keep shooting Ensign Ricky over and over. They're so accurate.
Wow.
No. Yeah, so it was cool. Actually, that's when I knew they didn't beam down to Romulus before, is because they fly the Scorpion through that little throne room. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that was on the ship. I guess that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My girlfriend, she's on the planet, and she has a conscience, and she has morals, and she's actually talking to the commander, being like, are you really sure you want to wipe out Earth? You really want that on your conscience?
Are you truly prepared to have your hands drenched in blood? He's not planning to defeat Earth. He's planning its annihilation.
Yeah, Romulans are ambitious like that, but they have shown that they're not, stupid and bloodthirsty. Like, they put on a good show, but a lot of them have shown reluctance to actually, plunge their civilization into war.
Well, I mean, the overthrow did happen.
Yeah.
This is like, what? So what do you want to do? Oh, I want to overthrow the government so that we can destroy Earth. Oh, well, I'm on board. I'll get a few of my guys with you.
No, we can do that. Yeah, okay.
Why not? Everybody talks to Picard, tells him all about Shinzon's genetics, and that he needs the transfusion. Data talks to his brother and has a nice little scene of like, oh, I'm deactivating you. Mm-hmm. Definitely. How long is that? Everybody gets a little time to shine. Geordi, explains the weapon, and then they make a run for the fleet, which sadly we never got to see. It would have been cool if they just like got there at the end and be like, hey, check out all these starships. Some of these are new, you haven't seen them. This is the latest movie.
Maybe they came in and tractored the Enterprise back.
Yeah.
That was not in good condition.
Yeah. They could have showed up at the end when Commander Nacha is showing, we're going to offer assistance, and be like, no, don't shoot. She's Jeff's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. We're not going to kill her. Mm-hmm. Everyone loads up weapons around. We get to see stellar cartography. I prefer the one on Enterprise-D. It's just such a grand room.
I prefer the one on Voyager.
Wow, burn in hell. You only like the one on Voyager because 7-9's in her cat suit standing in front of it the whole time.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Data explains him inspiring to be better than he is, which is a theme throughout this movie. Picard does that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
The themes throughout Star Trek that we don't get to see enough of right now. Mm-hmm. Or if we do, it's thrown in your face at the end. I did all these horrible things, but we are Starfleet. We are better than this. They make it to the Bazon Rift. I really like that. Like, the scimitars just following it. It's like, no, there she is. No, we're about in the rift.
Yeah.
What happens there? Communications is lost.
Yeah.
It's a trap. So Picard tries the radio when he realizes that, and he's just like, Riker, make a maneuver, quick! And then the next several shots of the scimitar just unloading from behind on the Enterprise is just like, the ship's not moving.
Maybe Riker thought they would expect him to make a maneuver, so if he just stayed straight, the stuff would miss him.
Or Riker was lazily drifting to the left.
The classic.
Yeah. Shinzon hails after kicking his ass for a bit there, and he's like, hey, why don't you go in your ready room? And then a hologram of Shinzon shows up. Chris, is this technology even possible? Because this hologram originated from his ship while the shields were up.
You can't trace my holographic emitters, Captain, so don't bother. And you can't contact Starfleet. It's just the two of us now, Jean-Luc.
Picard tries to reason with him. We get that whole, don't waste your life in a blaze of hatred. Mm-hmm. But just doesn't quite get through to him. We get a couple of Romulan warships to cloak. Mm-hmm. The sexiest Valdor class I've ever seen.
Gorgeous.
No, I don't know if it's a Valdor class, but that's a ship.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend calls to offer assistance, and she wants to have drinks with Picard afterwards. Mm-hmm. I think it's the genetics. She was in the Hardy, and now she's in the Picard.
She's into that.
I think when I lose my hair, Chris, I'm in. Lots of space battles. This is probably the most we've ever gotten.
Yeah, there's really heavy fighting space battle.
They mentioned that they want to do that, where they just want to build it up a lot and have lots of battle, and so they cut a lot of the character parts.
That's not how you make a Star Trek movie, bro. I did like the ramming speed.
Yeah. I mean, it happened slowly, but it still happened. Now, if Shinzon's pulling out, and I use that term for a joke, would the Enterprise not go with it? It's space.
That's true.
Like...
I guess there's some
enough
inertia
weight
and momentum going on.
I don't know if weight's really a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Troy uses her ability to rape the rapist to lock onto the cloak ship.
Get him back.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, I thought it was awkward she was holding Worf's hand with her wedding ring on there and be like, right in front of Riker? How long is this marriage?
Former lover.
Yeah, how long is this marriage gonna last?
Everyone tried to forget about that.
Shinzon's really obsessed with getting that cloak back on board. He's just like, oh, get it back. And it's like, you have 26 torpedo launchers. I think you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
They beam people over, the Viceroy and his little crew, and Riker and Worf go to stop them. They have a little gunfight.
That was a fairly lame action scene with Riker, I think.
Yeah, this was like, honestly, it felt like one of those movies where you're just going to build everybody up to have their like shining moment. And Riker's shining moment with Viceroy was just falling flat to me. Like, Ambo Jiu-Jitsu, show him your skills.
Oh yeah, what if Riker got like temporary blinded and you had to like take him out with a stick
or it was
something.
dark and we showed that these vampire bats can see in the dark.
Yeah.
And then he just grabs this like broken thing and he starts using it.
Yeah.
How sweet would that have been?
Yeah.
That would have been it would have made the movie that much more epic.
Then, the Viceroy trips him and he's like, that's an illegal move.
You've been cheating all these years. Yeah. Good times. So Shinzon's like, take Picard alive. Beam somebody over. Oh fuck it, just shoot the bridge.
Yeah, it just keeps giving up.
Poor Ensign Ricky gets sucked out in space.
Yeah.
Picard tries to auto-destruct the ship. It's just like,
work.
not online. No. Can you still load my holodeck programs? Oh yeah, we can still do that. Shinzon charges the weapon and he wants to kill the ship and Earth. So Picard beams over because why not just go back and forth? Transporter shorts. Oh,
he's like, Picard's like a cat. He wants inside and then he wants outside immediately. He wants to go back in.
I like that Geordi's just like, I don't know. And then right after Shorts is like, that's the last one. But then, Data can still beam back, so cheating.
Well, I think that the little thing, it was actually a whole transporter.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a transporter signal or a booster. I think that was a whole transporter.
If this wasn't like the latest Star Trek, I would be like, what kind of cannon is this?
Yeah. Well, that's what you can do when you move forward. People will be like, wait a minute, you can't do that. It'll be like, future.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
You can do anything.
Technology gets better.
You can tell I miss arguing about canon.
Yeah, you can't argue. No matter what they invent, it's like, well, they had more time.
That's why I'm dreading season 3 of Discovery. It's just be like, we got you this time, guys.
Yeah.
You're like, no, your ship's still from the 23rd century.
Yeah, it is still bullshit.
We can't do this. Data's gonna space jump. I mean, they got shuttles for that, but it's a good thing he didn't overshoot it. And they found... I'm just gonna jump over and find the latch and just gets me in there.
He's a robot.
Yeah.
He's got the calculation. He knows how to do it.
I would think standing in a radiation room wouldn't be good for you.
I'm going back to my Chernobyl viewing on this one. And I'm like, okay, there's shielding. But as soon as the knife goes through it and it explodes on the other end, that's bad.
Well, the fact that the knife could kind of like touch it kind of tells me the shielding's not really there.
And then when the scimitar explodes at the end and the Enterprise is just fine, even a microscopic amount of this could kill everyone on board.
It's space, man. It's a vacuum. It sucks it away from the Enterprise.
Just away from the Enterprise.
Yeah, his shields are up even though its front, like, of the bridge is missing. So yeah, Picard beams over there, outshoots everyone again.
Yeah.
As he's standing in the open this time.
Very good.
And then he battles Hardy. Good little fight. There's some rough CGI with the ship extensions. There's a few times the CGI is a bit rough, but overall I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. It was definitely good at the time.
How about that little wall pipe he just pulled?
That was really weak.
Yeah.
You know, I think that radiation shield wasn't as good as they thought it was, and it was just ready to go, man.
It is a cheaply built room where you can just pull things off the wall and stab people with it. We get the typical Lord of the Rings orc thing now, where you're just pulling yourself through it. At least he started choking him. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm in such shock that I'm going to stand here and be choked. I could just slap him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's counting down.
Yeah.
In the background, like, maybe we should...
Well, I guess he had nothing else to do.
That. Yeah, what if it's password protected? What if this is going to take you a while?
Couldn't get down to Scorpion in time and fly out again.
Yeah.
So Data shows up, self-sacrifices himself, beams Picard out. Then Chris cried. Little 10-year-old Chris just cried.
Couldn't deal with it. Too sad.
Yeah. My girlfriend calls and offers Picard assistance. And
but it's too late.
Yeah.
Data's already dead.
Data's gone. We jump to 2267 Chateau Picard. Drinks in his ready room. Why didn't he do that more often? Oh, hey guys, come to my ready room. We're gonna get drunk. Night shift's on.
Night shift. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he started bringing bottles to those poker games. He apparently attends now.
Yeah. How bad is that for the rest of the crew? Just like, I hate this spinach. This is just terrible wine. It tastes all fiery and burnt.
God.
So everyone starts sharing stories about Data. You can see his fencing sword in the background. And everyone cries, including Chris. Yeah. What was that song, Chris? What was that song?
It was Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yeah. We get to see space dock, ships being worked on. Riker's going to take the Titan to the neutral zone and talk to the Romulans. Maybe even talk peace.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen because 20 years from there, we're going to get a series.
No, this is good though, because I didn't realize how much, progress they got towards peace with the Romulans in this movie, so I'm glad I rewatched it. Because, Denatra says pretty explicitly, you have a friend in the Romulan Empire now.
Which is why I want to see her in this series, too.
Yeah, and then you're going to talk with, you're actually going to have talks with the Romulan Empire. Apparently Picard's not doing the talks, which is kind of weird now that I think about it.
Well, I mean, his ship needs repairs. He's getting, like, a Riker wannabe first officer who calls him Jean-Luc.
Yeah, but, they would clearly move towards better relations with the Romulans at the end of this, and I think they had better relationships with the Romulans for a while until, whatever went down for the Picard series.
Yeah.
This is Commander Denatra of the Valor. We're dispatching shuttles with medical personnel and supplies.
Thank you, Commander.
You've earned a friend in the Romulan Empire today, Captain. I hope the first of many.
Picard talks to B4, sings a bit of the wedding song, hinting that Data's kind of still in there.
Yeah. And then that gets sort of confirmed in the little countdown comic series that led up to Trek 09. But we'll see how canon that is.
Yeah. Things in Trek 09 apparently are canon.
Yeah.
Man, seeing Data as a first officer would have been sweet. Also, I think, like, as cool as the scene was, the deleted scene of, like, meeting the first officer in the chair with the seatbelts and yada yada, him calling him Jean-Luc and Picard, like, smiling, like, ha, Riker, hilarious. They should have had, like, the first officer go into turbo lift, and then like, it's Q, he's gonna mess with you. That would have been fun. Other than that, there were a couple of deleted scenes. I think we covered most of them. I would have liked to have seen that Worf one showing his distrust of the Romulans, because later he's just like, the Romulans fought with honor.
I still liked that line as it was. I didn't remember that deleted scene when I was watching it, but I was like, you know what, that's good. It's good that Worf can say that, given the, especially, the Klingons' feelings on Romulans, and the Romulans certainly did fought with honor, and it's nice that they take the time to show that Worf acknowledges that.
I always look at it as two ways. Like, for me, I watched the series, so I know this, but like, I always kind of look at it as like, oh, I took a friend who hasn't seen Star Trek and I showed them this, and be like, so what, like, he didn't like them before? Like, if you had shown that scene, you would have gotten that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you still don't want to reestablish every little thing, but yeah.
True.
Don't worry, number one. We'll still have you to Beta's Ed with plenty of time to spare.
Thank you, sir.
Where we will all honor the Betazoid tradition. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be in the gym.
What were your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I think this movie was a little better than I remembered. It wasn't really trying that hard to be a Star Trek kind of movie, which is the conclusion you can draw from a lot of Star Trek movies. But it was a reasonably good little exploration of Picard. It was, trying to be a send-off to TNG, and they hit us pretty hard in the feels with that. There were some good themes that they explored here. The ship battle at the end was fun. There was a lot of good designs on the ships, but they did skip a couple Trek things. Actually, given some of the dialogue between Picard and Shinzon, and him actually getting pretty close to talking him down, seeing that there actually was that goodness in Shinzon, even if it didn't prevail this time. I'm actually willing to give this movie more points than I had before. This was, it was better than I remembered it. It wasn't too bad.
I thought the director was an odd choice. He had done 2 movies beforehand. He's done none since. And it's like those 2 movies were U.S. Marshals and Executive Decision, so they weren't like mind-blowingly great movies.
Mm-hmm. At one point, I had to talk to someone who might have been involved in this project. Very talented individual, but they didn't know Star Trek. You cannot begin from a state of absolute ignorance to try to familiarize someone with what Star Trek is. It just won't work.
I heard Riker was still kind of directing Clock Stoppers as this was going, so...
I remember that movie. Riker directed that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually
give
never
that a rewatch.
I love watching Riker movies, but I actually never finished that or watched the whole thing. Logan, the writer of this one, and Data were actually working on a script for the next one, but because this didn't perform, it didn't happen. But I hear it would have been terrible. It was all about them like time traveling and running into like other Star Trek like captains and stuff.
Oh, I've heard of that. It was sort of like an Avengers Assemble for the Star Trek universe.
We already had that, man, in Generations, and it made sense.
Yeah.
It worked. It was fine. That'll be a fun review to do too. Yeah. Overall, I like this movie. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't as good as Insurrection. But for me, I enjoyed. You think of where Tom Hardy is now, and be like, hey, like Tom Hardy was in this movie as the main bad guy. I loved Dinatra. I thought she was a really cool character, and her ship was amazing. Mm-hmm. And overall, definitely need to explore Romulus a bit more.
Yeah,
but they were heading in the right direction with this. And next, I assumed we would have got a DS9 movie, but that never happened.
No, that would have been nice.
I guess they told them probably before the end of DS9, hey guys, you're not getting a movie. You might as well end it like this.
Well, DS9 and Voyager would be harder to do movies for because they kind of the series had like a goal. It was sort of the war with DS9, and then that ended. So DS9's kind of wrapped up, and Voyager had a goal, get back home. So that's kind of ended, it wrapped up. But original series and TNG were just like, explore, do stuff. And so that can keep going.
I was just looking forward to Janeway being like, I feel lost. We're home now, Janeway. Well, I guess next we'll do a little Picard rundown there for the new series. Mm-hmm. Other than that, as always, thanks for watching.
See ya.
I feel sad for the Viceroy, who's the greatest warrior, who has to hold Shinzon's head as he has these sexual rape telekinetic fantasies through him.
Oh, God.
This is what I've become. We don't have time for this. I just don't want to do it.